back into another episode of NA Now. Brandon Hofstra joined here with Maryland Black Bears head coach Clint Mylymok. Clint, first off, thanks for doing this. I know this summer has been hectic for just about everybody, but what's been going on in your world?
Kind of the same. You know, it's some people say it's been a long or a short summer. And for me, it's been kind of the opposite. It's weird because it was a long
Yeah.
season, and I think maybe it's just the anticipation of getting back on we're back in the saddle and getting after it. And I think especially with the landscape of hockey and how things have changed, how much recruiting you do and how many daily things do you have to do with your players, keeping active, keeping in touch with them, talking to them. I think those are all important things that keep you busy, I guess, and keep you kind of focused on the task at hand. And it's been pretty busy and had some time away, but yeah, we're back at it. Seems pretty quick here.
Yeah. Let's talk about last year's team. Obviously, you yourself, you guys went back to back as East Division champions last year, making the trip to the Robertson Cup championship game. But just talk about how special of a group of players you had in last year's roster.
Anytime you can build something as a team and where you started from and see where you end up, it's always exciting. And then the group we had, I was talking to like Dimitri Kibru the other day. He was in the office, or at the rink skating, and he's asking, of course, like a lot of guys do, well, how's the team looking and this and that. And I said, well, 2 years ago, I was like, man, we don't have Brad McNeil back. Like that's gonna hurt. And he
Yeah.
was a great leader for us. And this year I said, well, guess what? I'm saying we don't have Dimitri Kibru back. But I guess in the end, just kind of that's room for new guys to step up. And it took our guys a bit last year to to learn. That was a fun part. A lot of guys were leaders for the first time, like being the man, and it took them a little bit to adjust to it and mature as a group. But once they did, they really showed what they had, and it was fun seeing the maturity of the group rise throughout the season. Our older players too, just how they kind of took responsibility and the things they would say and things they come to me with. I was like, this is a good group of kids that is growing up, has grown up, and wants to do something. So that's the goal this year. It's never just the on ice part component. It's also evolving as leaders.
Yeah. This question kind of goes off that as well with on ice and off ice. Black Bears 17 NCAA commitments last season. That's always got to be a great accomplishment for not only you and your staff, but the organization as a whole and those players most of all.
It's important to us. I mean, it's something you can point to when you recruit players. When you talk to families, advisors, or whoever, it's part of the story we tell is when you come here, it's we offer all the things you need off the ice, the training, the development, the building, everything. We have things to sell, but that's always in the end when you think about it. I think the number one goal for kids when they start junior hockey, if they're not committed, is to get a commitment. They learn the other stuff later that we try and teach, but they really do come here saying, they look at it, they look at your roster and they click on names on certain websites and in hockey and they go, where'd you guys go? And they don't just do this year, they do a year ago, 2 years ago. So it's something that we take pride in and we use obviously to sell and it helps us and it gives players a little comfort knowing if they come here that they're going to be I'll never promise, but they'll be given an opportunity to be seen because that's what our division offers, our team offers, and our league offers is the opportunity to be seen almost on a nightly basis and be heavily scouted and the rest is up to them, as I say.
Off season came and went like you and I talked about. What did you and your staff dial in from the NAHL draft, tender system, and even some returners to fill in some holes that you guys might have?
Yeah, the back end we lost a lot, and we had guys drafted and who were on the list of some USHL teams. So we had to fill those holes. We went draft, the defensemen, we drafted a few of them early. Our camp will be competitive. Our goal is we want to be in a position where we think we can win, not rebuild, but reload. I think we've done that. But we want to be in a position where not only are we good right now and have good, at least on paper, good players, we've got guys at higher levels or in the USHL where, if they don't end up making it, they're going to come down and make us even stronger and put us in a really good situation. So that's always the goal, is to make sure that we're in a good spot now. And then if anything we get from the USHL potentially later is a bonus, and then a big bonus. So we've done a pretty good job maintaining our roster and returners, and then the job is on them to bring up the veterans or bringing in up to speed. We've got some tenders, some older players that are coming in to fill some holes of the Tremblays and the Keybrews and Stitches and Horacheks up front. And then on the back end, like I said, we drafted like two in the first round to fill the holes of guys that are in the USHL or have graduated, guys like Luca Mel, Lipset, and Johnson. So we've got some good pieces, and once again, we have a target on our back, and even more so after last year again. And we made sure we try to once again pick the right person to fill those holes and make sure they're ready to handle what they're going to see next year, which is some tough competition.
But you've been with this organization from the grassroots level, the past 7, now going on 8 years. Talk about just the change that you've seen with the Blackbirds organization, and then we'll kind of get into as well the change in the East. Obviously, there was a new team last year, and then an addition of Elmira this upcoming season. But just kind of talk about from the grassroots up with the Blackbears.
What the on ice product is much different. I mean, we try and get better every year. I use the word evolve quite a bit in when I get interviewed about our program and what we try and do. And that's what we did. We hired some really good people to make my job easier. And the only ownership, I mean, Murray Gunty has allowed me to bring people in. I mean, that's the one thing that when people ask, what do you do? Is I hire good people. I don't care where you played or if you played. I just want good people that hustle, work. When the players come to the rink, they know they're well taken care of in terms of their needs and wants. And then we try and make sure they have a great player experience. So we've evolved as a staff. Like my first year is Brandon Godkin and I. Brandon is associate head coach in Youngstown now, and it was me and him. We're at the showcase. I'm like, we can't do this. Like, we're both we started late, so we had a late start putting things together. And listen, you know what you need to do when you get here, but it takes a while to build it. So now we've got to the point where we've got some staff. We do a lot of things to help our players and ourselves, where we get some breathing room, and so that part of it's been great. We've had the opportunity to build it. The other part is the on ice component, and how do you get good players and get advisors and schools to want their players to play for you? Well, you have to have things, and our weight room is state of the art. It's a huge weight room. We have a video room. We're still building, if you can believe it, like stuff in our locker room to make it cooler and better. And the player experience, once again, when they walk in, the wow factor's there. So we've done all that. We're doing more. And then just like our scouting, like our scouting is obviously important. So we've hired really, really good and talented people that work with us that can help push players our way.
Yeah.
So we don't lose a lot of recruiting battles, and it's not because of me per se. It's just because I feel like the best thing I've done is hire good people, and been given the opportunity by Andrew Goldman, who's our VP, and Murray, like, to hire people that are difference makers and put us in a situation where it's easy for a player to say, I want to play in Maryland.
Yeah. The NAHL is reaching a milestone this year, 50 years of North American Hockey League hockey. What comes to mind when you think of 50 years of the NAHL?
Stability. If you look at it, the landscape is junior A in Canada, and then you have junior A in the US, and you think junior A in the US, you think North American Hockey League. It's a staple. It's a lot of coaches and high-end players and hockey people have come from this league. They've cut their teeth here and learned and grinded it out, and whether they're working in NHL or American League or even league offices or whatever, there's a lot to point at and go, this league has survived every challenge it's been thrown at them over the years. So it's impressive. And when I worked in Canada, this was the league you look at as your competition. Go, I wonder what that league is like. And I think it gets taken for granted sometimes how good this league really is. But it's been here so long. Like, people have challenged it. They want to take it down, and they wanted to start something new. And I just feel like it's withheld the test of time, and it's gotten stronger. And as you can see with the amount of teams that are in the league, is continuing to get strong. And when you look at the geography of our league and map out where teams are located, like we've got every region covered and for the most part, and it continues to seemingly develop and get better. So the product's really good. I think you want stability, and this league's got it.
Yeah. The season officially kicks off September at the NAHL Showcase. How ready are you to get this thing rocking and rolling?
Yeah, I mean it's changed obviously with the date. We've got our a few games before the showcase, and the showcase is the one thing that the players, of course, are excited about opening night. But the first real trip when we fly out to Minnesota, so the flight out there, the excitement of the showcase, the veterans explain to the not just the young players, but the new players that have played junior hockey elsewhere what the showcase event is like. It's always a good way for our league to showcase its talent. It gives us also 2 weeks now to play some games and have some roster adjustments before we get there. So now, for the most part, the schools are really watching what our teams are going to really look like. I think the showcase before the date change is really good, advantageous for us because schools now know, okay, they've had some movement and some changes, and this is kind of what the roster looks like. So they get a better idea what teams are going to be like. So, and it's always fun to watch and play against other divisions when you're at that event and get a chance to see your buddies and have some chats and see all the schools there. That's the cool part is the kids looking up and going, holy crap, there's a ton of schools here. So it's fun. It's fun to see how they react to it and how they handle it too. It's
Yeah.
good for them to see how they adjust to the pressure of it.
Clint, thanks again for doing this. Excited to see you out in September up in Blaine, and good luck this upcoming year.
Appreciate that. Thank you.